Welcome everyone to this another special episode of Now You Know Destiny. This is kind of a lore episode in a way, but we'll be mainly talking about the reveal we had last Tuesday and the current story of this season. You are always joined by the second best warlock in the community, self-appointed, Volshok Berserker. First being Bife, of course.
And I am the hunter always and forever, doing it for nothing but the glimmer. Lost Angel of Havoc.
And you've got your other happy-go-lucky hunter over here. I go by Ice Mate Golem.
I really gotta get another warlock on here.
There's no happy hunter.
I mean, amongst our group, we have the core people. We have 2 hunters, a titan, and a warlock.
Also, isn't all of Loose Cannon all hunters?
Is Baxter a hunter? I thought Baxter was a hunter.
Baxter's a hunter. I remember watching an episode or catching up on the Loose Cannon episodes, and I think they talked about them all being hunters.
He seems like such the warlock type. He has brains, instant warlock.
Hey,
anyways,
that doesn't mean hunters don't have brains.
The reveal was on Tuesday. What were your guys' summary thoughts on just Beyond Light?
Man, so I mean, I'll set the scene because I really wanted to be home for it, but I had to do a lot of errands that day. And I mean, I definitely wasn't making my wife happy because everything that put us behind just put me in a worse mood. When I finally actually got to take a look at the trailer because we were stopped and she was running something in the post office, I just opened up the stream. And I got to see the tail end of the trailer where the stranger hopped off her sparrow. I'm like,
oh, the first trailer.
Oh my god! So so that was what I got to see out of that trailer, and I was like, oh snap! It's about to go down. And then the next trailer, when they put Beyond Light, the gameplay trailer, I was just like, when they said wield the darkness. And I saw the hunter spinning sickles and chains. I was like, ah!
I think one of the other classes has a trident-looking weapon.
No, the warlock has some sort of trident halberd.
Yeah.
I don't think they showed. I'm actually kind of glad they didn't show everything.
They didn't show much.
Yeah, it was just a quick tease, and you really didn't get to see the nature of how any of those things are going to behave, except for it looked like the warlock has some sort of charge attack. It looks like, but you don't even know if that's going to be a third-person roaming super or what. So I like it. That was kind of my thoughts, and then everything else that I was able to catch on the tail end when I got home, and then I ended up recycling through everything from the season of Arrivals. The fact that they talked about there being a new dungeon, and I felt validated because I feel like I spent especially the last couple of weeks, I feel like it's been nothing but trying to defend Bungie and being yo, they're human, blah. Spring is always light on content. But
they're an independent company now.
Yeah, and I've done that every time. You know what I'm saying? And I went through this last year. With my friends, and I went through it before Forsaken as well, you know what I'm saying? And I always feel like big reveals like this kind of make me feel just validated as a fan, and and a supportive player who does try to be constructively critical when I can, but at the same time I don't believe in I still play the game. I still enjoy logging on and playing every week, so I see no point in being just nasty about it, just because overall I still enjoy the experience. But reveals like this make me feel really good as both a player, as a fan.
I think the track record of Bungie is that they do big DLC really good.
Mm-hmm.
Taken King is considered the best DLC of the franchise. Forsaken, another big hit. Shadowkeep brought thousands of people back just because of the changes they upgraded to the system.
Yeah.
And now we have this Beyond Light adding a new subclass and element type to the weapons with a furthering of the deep part of the story.
And I don't know if you guys actually watched Dr. Lupo's interview with Luke Smith, but that actual subclass path is going to be very different than
Like D1, right?
Well, yeah, he said it's not going to be. Luke Smith said that it's not going to be locked diamonds. That there'll be a lot more customization for the stasis subclass.
Yeah, I've heard people might they might update the old subclasses to mirror that, so this way the old ones don't feel so out of date.
Well, I think probably what they will probably do, and I'll make this point before moving on to frogs. I don't want to take up too much, but I think that what they'll probably do is I'll see how stasis does and how the player base reacts to having that customization of your super and stuff like that, and seeing what it does to the game ecosystem, and look at the other subclasses, and maybe for like the following season maybe do that for the other subclass trees and stuff like that. I have no idea how much work goes into doing that, so I don't know what's a realistic timetable for them to do that to the other subclasses versus since
it will require a lot of resources because they basically be changing the entire way super systems work in Destiny 2.
Yeah, but I'm excited for it.
Yeah. But I mean, overhaul is sometimes you need to overhaul a game to get it going.
Yeah, just look at what was it, Final Fantasy 14 Online. They did. From what I've heard, they did it in a very unique way, where some kind of planet hit the play area, and they used that as an excuse to completely revamp all of the systems.
Oh yeah, you cannot say if you have to say one thing about Final Fantasy series, it's that they know how to work their stories. But no, yeah, the short of it is on launch, Final Fantasy XIV was so poorly done. Nothing worked. It wasn't fun. Nothing felt good. And then they're like, well, it's a Final Fantasy game. We got to give it the credit where it's due. And so they released a Realm Reborn 2.0, whatever you want to call it. And they fixed literally everything. And it is now... It's either the first or second most popular MMO. It goes back and forth between FF14 and WoW.
That's major, though. To even
it went from being terrible to top
I
two.
feel like the fact that it can actually hold its own against something like WoW that has such longevity to it, like that speaks volumes.
Forever.
Yeah, dude. Yeah,
like since as long as multiplayer was a thing. Well, I was watching the reveal from start to finish. I was waiting there for like the 10-minute video start, the 8:26 minute, and then the start, and we saw the content for next season or the next DLC, and I was like, why are we starting off with this season content? Like, I was confused at first because we're going to start off with the big reveal, show you a trailer and a little bit of the season you're about to get in an hour, and then more future stuff. So I was like, the layout was a little interesting.
I think that what they were probably thinking about was just probably the state of where things were at. I mean, I think we can, honestly say that, Season of the Worthy is probably the worst season the game's had since Curse of Osiris. I think Curse of Osiris is probably... I think Curse of Osiris is probably the worst point. Yeah.
Curse of Osiris was worse than Warmind.
Warmind,
I guess
Warmind was a step back in the right direction after Osiris.
Yeah, I think, I feel like more so Warmind was trying to clean up the messes of Curse of Osiris, but still, they had to contend with the fact that it still had the year one sandbox. So, so it still needed a lot of work. I think, Season of the Worthy, for the first time, Destiny kind of took a big step back, and people were already unhappy with the seasonal model.
I love the
people were already exhausted from the fractal and grind and everything like that, and then basically
I think what Luke covered in the video was the FOMO, fear of missing out.
Yeah, people were already upset with the fear of missing out, and then Season of the Worthy came out, and then you had FOMO and really nothing exciting to keep people motivated to continue playing. So you went from one big thing working against the game to like two, and then it became So I think that they wanted to do this big reveal. Plus, they had been teasing it and stuff like that. I don't think they wanted to kind of have people.
That's why I was confused at first, because I was like, oh, cool, we're going to Europa next season.
Yeah.
And then boom, no. September. Like, I mean, okay, it makes sense. Why would this season be any different than the last two?
Yeah, it's, they've got new expansion out every year, and then they give you update content drops with every season four times. I think it's 4 times a year. There's 4 seasons a year.
Well, I think so.
I think it's 4 or 5.
So the initial model technically had
the 3 months
seasons,
long,
but
it's 4.
Yeah, I mean the initial model basically did 3 technically seasons, but they were spaced out very much further apart from each other, or rather, Warmind was spaced very far out from having a brain fart.
Warmind and Forsaken?
No, Warmind was spaced out very far. Well, from Forsaken and from Curse. So Warmind kind of sat
they
in a really
stretched
weird
it out
space.
quite a bit because it was 2 seasons into 3, so they're 6 months long.
Although, like, they hadn't.
They
implement the season model
backdated
until
and renamed certain
year
DLC
2.
seasons content.
Yeah, and
Like season of the Warmind, season of
yeah, and chat made a good point saying that can it be said on how Curse and Warmind's performance could partially be blamed on.
We don't know the specifics of that though.
Well, what I will say is one thing I appreciate, and I think it's funny because I kind of inadvertently memed it when I did my Bungie Reacts video. Obviously, part of what I was parodying was just Luke Smith and his kind of attitude and stuff like that. I kind of did it I guess subconsciously or whatever. But I love that in this reveal, you don't really see a lot of people in that high of a seat take that much accountability for stuff, but I love that he kind of took that L. Like he was like, "Hey, look, this is the L, okay?"
They're very good about owning up on their mistakes.
You know what I mean? So, and I kind of get excited when Luke Smith is like, we went the wrong direction and we're gonna fix it.
That's what I said for the next season model as well.
We can't. We just can't have a fix it like Trials because Trials still needed some fixing. But
that's what he has the 2 down for a weekend.
Well, no, I have faith though, and I mean, just me personally, I have faith in the studio. Like,
I don't play
it's
Trials,
their game now.
So
I got a couple of Trials weapons.
I might need my play for the lore book completionist.
Yeah.
As a quick side note, when I said I finished all of the lore books in my Twitter post about all of the physical copies and wallpapers, I meant I finished making them, not collecting them in the game.
You did get Chronicler though, right?
But it doesn't require all of them.
Yeah.
You need only the Forsaken ones. So I'm a failure as a chronicler, technically.
Yeah. Well, I'm actually really upset about the chronicler title.
What is it?
Because one of my books
is Hive one?
Bugged out.
But
it is.
I'll try.
I'll give you that spotlight. So I'm actually missing one of the books from the Forsaken Prince book, which is the book you just earned by playing through the Forsaken storyline.
Yeah. Did you delete a character and restart? Try it again?
Oh gosh, have I done it on a new character? I know I've definitely replayed the the missions itself, and I've even replayed the mission when it was the heroic event. I don't know if I've done it on a new character yet.
Maybe.
Though. And that's probably the next thing I should try.
So next season is going to be us going to Europa.
Right.
And the Drifter, Eris, with her new stasis power, or not new stasis power, she got them in Shadowkeep. And the Exo Stranger will be with us confronting an opening. And the pyramid ships are active, but this one is like actually opening all of its doors and stuff.
We're going to be able to directly interact with the pyramid ship.
More than the one hallway we've been in.
I wonder if because they're choosing to go with Aramis as the villain, I wonder if we will finally bring the Fallen
she has
storylines to. Yeah, she has stasis. So and I was actually thinking about that because there is that prophecy of Osiris from the comic where it's like the darkness will choose its champions and stuff like that. And I mean, I feel like one thing I do feel like it's very appropriate for it to be Fallen because they were the ones who had the Traveler. And I mean, completely honest, I feel like the Hive always seem to kind of have their own motivations. Savathun. The Hive always seem to have their own motivations when it comes to their overall end game. Obviously Savathun is that was probably my second most exciting part, seeing the long roadmap for the next expansions after Beyond Light. But with the Fallen, I feel like there's definitely motive there, in terms of they already had the connection to the light. They had the connection to the traveler. They are going the route now with Stasis, with Aramis leading. I'm assuming probably the House of Devils.
Not every Fallen has
no, not every Fallen.
Extreme grudges against the traveler. Like Varix, for example.
True.
He was at one point wanted to know why the traveler left, but his main focus was to keep the houses together. The Fallen and their Elixni pride, not the Fallen pride.
Do we want to consider Varric's Fallen granddad?
Right.
What?
Because I feel like Mithrax is like, all right, man, you know what? We're gonna do something new, and
with his House of Light.
We're gonna.
So you think
represent the light,
you think Aramis might create a House of Dark and then deal with the House of Light as the first Fallen
They
Guardian?
said that. That's what they said. They said that Aramis is wielding a new power, and
well, yeah, but we don't know what her house is. I'm just thinking it would be very poetic of a House of Dark to exist while there's a House of Light.
Well, I imagine that basically, ultimately, I think probably this is just going to be kind of Devils again, because that's what Aramis leads, I believe. I think she is the new Kel of the House of Devils. But they said that
there's not much of that house left.
I think they referred to her as Kel of the Dark. I could be wrong, but...
So you're saying it's not as much as establishing a new house as turning the House of Kells or the House of Devils into
let's be honest, the House of Devils is always on some wild shit, right? Like,
well, the Devil's Splicers was a small group.
I won't argue there.
Of Devils. It was just their engineering and technology division who branched off.
Look, they're just like, all right, look, guys. You have like regular Fallen who are like, all right, look, we need to regroup. We need to get these supplies, get our pirating on and stuff like that. And then you have that weird sect of the House of Devils that's like, nah, bro, I found this old technology. I'm going to splice it to my body, yo.
All Fallen have done that. All Fallen have done that. The Splicers just took it to a too much level, which also, I guess it explains because there is Ziva coming back. Because we know that first trailer, the gameplay trailer they showed us, there is a Fallen doing a superhero landing with Vosik the Archpriest style Ziva back with a giant triangle. It's back. That's also what some people thought the red movement under the ice was Ziva, because we have closed Bray facilities and the deep stone crypt on Europa.
Oh.
It wouldn't be weird for Ziva to be there.
Does it have to be Ziva, or could it just be
the design? No,
Ikelos? Because they have similar.
They're both from the Golden Age, have War Mind connections, but the design of Ikelos is much more sophisticated than Ziva is.
Pull up the trailer and let's take a look at it.
Okay.
I was going to suggest that we actually do that for this show since what we're talking about actually could work.
I'm gonna keep the sound off. Not the nope. Gameplay trailer. Yes.
The gameplay trailer, right?
So, well, there's gonna be mechs now. See, okay, the screen grab I have. It's got Kel, or a Archpriest size Fallen, with not traditional looking Ziva colors.
Why don't we just watch the whole thing and then pause as we go?
I see what you're talking about.
Let's start at the actual. So the first image they actually give us, the first after the beginning intro, is actually almost a direct rip from their concept art of Europa back in D1.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is.
Which I appreciated. They make fades into the Bungie logo.
Also, do you guys know if there's who's speaking in the trailer?
It's Elsie Bray. They changed her voice actor. Oh. It's the same voice actor as the Emissary.
That's right.
Yeah, I figured that because it sounded very familiar.
She was also the voice of one of the.
That's what was messing with me.
Skyrim.
Also, there's a point where Aramis actually speaks as well.
Yeah, at the very end of it. She only has one line at the very end of the trailer.
Sorry, go ahead.
This screen grab has what looks like a new Fallen-looking ship in the background of the Europa city. Then it pans into an internal shot of what looks like to be new specific arcology style architecture with some kind of adornate orb in the center with the fallen surrounding it. Now, in this next shot is all Vex, which is interesting because I don't know if there's any Vex activity in Europa. It's all ocean with a layer of ice.
Right, but is it really that weird? Because wasn't the Exo Stranger first introduced to us as part of
Yes.
Vex
because
investigations?
she said there's a lot of darkness in the world, and the Vex are a special kind of darkness. Probably hinting at their time travel abilities and the fact that, in my personal understanding of the lore, the Vex were the answer to the darkness's question of the flower game before the light and dark wove themselves into the rules of the universe.
Yes.
The Vex won in every scenario.
Yes.
Right.
They follow
until
the
you
pattern.
introduce paracausality.
Exactly.
Moving on. Let's see. We're getting fallen mechs that are shaped like Insurrection Prime.
Yeah, I saw that. That seems to be an actual enemy type now, which is
either that or it's going to be a Shrike boss. Or maybe it's downscaled because there's no servitor inside. We also get some new Pacific Arcology looking Golden Age with like exo shipments flying around, which I thought was pretty cool. This section of the Golden Age with exos is still functioning. So that means there's got to be pristine records.
Well, maybe it's not New Pacific Arcology per se. I mean, definitely some parts look.
Well,
like
I'm saying the design is very New Pacific, so it could be that they were designed in the same time frame.
It's the same style.
Well, I mean, yeah, it could be very similar.
A sister site, if you will.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the New Pacific Arcology was designed with the movement of Titan's methane oceans, and Europa has oceans underneath its ice. So maybe the similar designs are because it's similar-ish conditions.
I'm saying, right, like I actually knew that. I'm like, yeah, of course.
You could have just left that part out and no one would have known, man.
Oh, man.
Just,
come on.
Just behind the non-existent camera, just push up your glasses.
What, get my anime villain on? Just with my one
really
finger.
villain.
I'm grabbing my shades now just to give.
It's not really villain. Protagonists do it too. Have you ever watched Log
Get the
Horizon?
anime glasses.
Oh, Uryu does it from
They
Bleach.
do it every 5 seconds in that show.
You know, when they push it up and it goes to like the glare
yeah.
instead of like actually seeing their eyes, shit's about to go down.
It's great. I'll trail off. Okay, so we're getting Warm Mind looks, and the more we see. Hold on, the more we see of stuff of the inside, I can't tell if this current shot is Fallen or Golden Age. It looks kind of. I can't really tell. I think it's Golden Age, but some of the design reminds me of Fallen.
It reminds me of the design of Prison of Elders.
That's why I can't really pin it. It looks like an assembly line, or at least not an assembly line, a manufacturing path, like trainway.
It looks like a
yeah.
It looks like some kind of
stuff.
Tram rail. Yeah,
this might be Fallen because the Golden Age looking area had floating ships. It would explain the difference more.
Yeah.
See, okay, so there's one shot of Europa in here that just screams to me the pathway between two patrol areas in the city of Freehold from Mars. Like, it's just a downturn in the snow with Golden Age buildings covered in sand
I thought
snow.
The same thing, dude.
As soon as I saw that, I'm like, that looks exactly like that one curve in City of Freehold.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, just my own personal things. We get a lot of shots of, like, Vex stuff in here. So there's ice around these Vex structures in this new shot. So, of course, there's going to be some Vex here as well. Which, side note, we know the Vex have existed before this universe was created by the fact that they've continuously won the old games of the Flower Game. What influence does the darkness have on their just very being? Like, I know that the Vex are trying to figure out the new final shape because of paracausality. So does it mean, will they attack the pyramid ships? Do they know the pyramid ship is their old final shape?
So I had a theory with all that. I actually feel like the Vex to a certain extent are outside of the effects of paracausality, in the sense that, you know,
I
the
mean, my
Hive,
paracausal fist works pretty well on them.
Well, I'm saying, like, I'm not saying that they're immune to the. I'm not saying that they're immune to the light. I'm just saying that they cannot be manipulated by the light or dark. That's why their singular focus and goal is to just exist, right? Like, that's why, I mean, obviously with the context we have now on their origin and stuff like that, their primary goal in Curse of Osiris makes 100% sense. You know,
well, their primary goal has always been to become everything. That's what it means to become the final shape. You become the universe.
I suppose. I actually hadn't looked at it that way. I just feel like the Vex that are doing that don't seem to be connected to the darkness in the way the soul divisive to the way the soul divisive are.
True.
And therefore, I feel like the motivation to, I guess, bring the universe to its final shape, or, you know, a universe where it's just only Vex. I guess while that is a tenet of the darkness, I think that's more so just kind of a product of, I guess, their entire purpose of existence. You know what I'm saying? Is to survive. And I think that, you know, I don't necessarily so much as they were the answer to the darkness. I just think that they were just a product of the flower game. You know what I'm saying? They were the winner, right?
Well, yeah.
So so they followed the pattern, and that's how they. That's.
It's also important to note, I feel, that the Black Garden existed outside of time and space.
Exactly.
And it is also possible that the Vex lived, like, were there, and since it was outside of time and space, it survived the recreation of the universes for each new flower game.
Well, I believe, to be completely honest with you, I believe the Vex themselves existed as the Radiolaria, or maybe something even more, even something more microscopic than Radiolaria, because there's other parts of Unveiling that that kind of.
You mean the P-53?
Not P-53, but there's another one that actually describes when the Traveler, I think they became the Vex as we know them, like the Radiolarian fluid piloting the shapes and stuff like that. I think they became that as a result of spilling out of the garden. You know what I'm saying? Which might also be. Say what?
There's also the fact that while let's say the Vex were created that way, this moment of garden, this cosmic garden, also mentioned worms.
It did.
So either the worms were one of the winners of the Darkness games, or the worms were just a byproduct of the gardener and the winnower's activities in this garden, or created by one of them to help cull some of the flowers. Which, I mean, most likely created by the winnower, given their context with their affinity of the darkness.
Well, what I'm referencing, by the way, is, the lore entry Pattern Fall from Unveiling. As the very first line of it says, the patterns that escaped the garden landed in water. Of course, there was no water at first. The patterns were abstract waves tumbling through the fire of the early universe, trapped in chaos, cycling through desperate self-preservation tautologies, while vast beings from beyond the narrow domination.
Seth Dickinson is a master of words. I don't understand.
Yeah, so like just reading that and stuff like that, like I said, you know, I feel like the Vex existed as some sort of other form of life prior to becoming the Radiolaria. I think the Radiolaria was just the first form they were able to take once they kind of spilled forth into the universe. Happy little accident, I guess. They were Bob Ross.
Happy little accident. I don't think Asher Mir would describe it that way.
Hey man, shouldn't have been fucking
Oh
around.
man, bud.
It does. It
Oh
does
god.
seem to paint the picture of the Vex.
Yeah.
Because
So,
they built their first housings from geometry and silica. That's definitely
yeah.
Vex.
And it says, the last line says, "They are not all mine, not in the way that admirers such as my
And they are
main
made
orgs
before light and dark,
are
which
mine."
why light and dark is such an enigma to them. Like
is.
as like a comparison, Zelathune just talking to a thrall about her plans, and the thrall just not understanding in any concept. That's the Vex to paracausality.
Have we? Are we discussing the new lore?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
Just don't know.
Let's continue on this trailer real quick.
I haven't
Okay,
been able
never
to
mind
get
then.
on the new lore at all yet.
Ziva looking Fallen. We've covered him. Ziva
Well,
looking Ice. With cool pictures in the background. They featured Last Wish weapons. I find that interesting.
Well, I mean, let's all take note that.
And now we're panning into the darkness abilities they show us.
I mean, I believe that was a Curse of Osiris weapon in the last scene.
Now it shows the warlock shooting some kind of energy bolt out of this, what you described as a halberd, which
it kind of just looked
could
up
be,
like
yeah.
a straight up.
My first
I
thought
mean, it
was
could
we have
be,
the
it
Valkyrie
just-
in hand now.
I know Destiny has a way of, like, anytime they like really there's a weapon in play.
I wonder if EU 8 320 LV4 908 are coordinates.
What does that mean?
It's where it says go beyond in the
yeah.
beyond the light section of the trailer. There's like numbers.
Oh, shit.
They gotta mean something. Anyways,
That's got.
we're not gonna go into the super spin foil. It seems like hitting these enemies with your stasis affects them like the current grenade launcher does. Like it covers them in a design. Or this design is the House of Dark Aramis is leading. Because this looks less like an effect because it's covering our Guardian as well.
Well, it's so stasis from what it appears to me seems to be ice based, especially if you take into consideration the way Eris's orb looked and stuff like that. So it seems to me that it's very ice based, which would also explain why it would be a manageable.
That halberd looks beautiful.
Yeah,
But so it looks. It kind of looks like the Titan has. I wouldn't call them. They look like
gauntlets.
Ice, like the Lion Gauntlet Kratos had in God of War 3, but like all darkness is like interesting. So, do you think the hunter is getting a sickle because
that's a straight up wizard staff.
Their comrade armor from last season?
Nah, I think it's I got this, bro. Listen, funny. I think it's because hunters are everything with hunters is kind of like ninja-y, right? Like we have a katana like as our class specific sword,
Just being funny.
Well, I mean, everybody got.
He's got a point here.
Last season though, that was my thing. But I think it's just more so like everything about the hunter arsenal from the arc staff being kind of like a bow staff and obviously having knives and stuff like that and spectral blades and stuff like that.
But a sickle is also a farming tool.
Right, it's a farming. Well, the thing is the sickle that's a farming tool looks very different from the sickle as a weapon focused sickle. In what I've seen from the trailer, those look specifically like Kama, which is it's a weapon that's pretty well known.
There's a version of it in the movie Ninja Assassin, only instead of it being a sickle, it's like one long ass chain with like a mace on one end and just like a blade on the other one. But normally,
which
the Ninja
I feel like the
version
Titan would have.
No,
a mace with a chain at the end of it.
That would make sense if it was a mace, but
it's chain with a weight on the end. It's a weapon based around agility
and strength
strength or power.
Anyways, so we're going to Europa. We're going to fight some Fallen, some Vex, and possibly learn more about the darkness. And this trailer ends, and we're going to wield the darkness. We're going to fight Aramis. Let's take a step forward while looking back and they show this video of the beginning of the game. And by the way, that music, I forgot how good it is.
Well, even if you just because I was watching Katie Cat's reaction to it, and she's right. Like when you see them unfold the story like that, like just the cinematic story beats all together like that, you have that epic ass music and just everything. It's hard to realize it when you're just playing like season by season, DLC by DLC and stuff like that. But like, yo, the story in Destiny is like
crazy,
massive, dude. Like
crazy,
it's epic as fuck. And I do love that, the strides they've taken to make what we do matter more and more into the game. You know what I'm saying? And obviously,
imagine if they have a graphics update with the next gen consoles.
Oh no, it's gonna be ridiculous.
I am actually terrified of graphics updates purely because, at least, it's not that the computer can't handle it, it's that optimization only ever seems to get worse after a game's release. Unless they specifically make a major update just focused on optimization. My biggest example of this has been Call of Duty Modern Warfare. That game is 198 gigabytes of space.
Game.
And
same here.
I do, because we play both. My performance has only ever gotten worse. My CPU usage has only gone up.
What I did is I limited my frame rate
cap.
Terrible. Because the default is 250. I have a 144 refresh screen. I don't need it that high. So I lowered its possibility to go that high on graphics scale and to cool it down. Plus, I have a decently beefy computer, so I think I'm fine.
Now, did we hit everything we did?
Yeah, it's everything with Beyond Light. And I wanted to cycle kind of chronologically at this point now. So, season of the arrivals. Season of Arrivals.
Yeah, I was about to say
season of Arrivals of the Arrivals.
Semantics. Okay. But to start a rap, Arrivals with a revival is. Sorry.
It is semantics, but just
we're gonna have pyramid ships showing up on Io, Titan, Mars,
Mercury,
and Mercury.
I actually did want to hit one more thing on the trailer. Can we talk about whatever that cute little thing is that's following the
What
Exostranger?
Is that thing? It's got to be some kind of pet from her timeline.
I think so. Luke Smith already came out and said that it's not a ghost.
Obviously.
But he said very specifically in the interview that he said, the Exostranger is not forged in light, but
no.
We'll
you think it's a darkness ghost?
I think that not necessarily a darkness ghost,
or it's an animal that's attuned to the darkness like the worms were.
I don't think it's darkness related at all. I think it's a paracausal.
It's the Leviathans, baby.
That could be it. Me personally, I think that if the Exostranger wasn't forged in light, right, and I'm assuming she, along with Eris, are probably going to be the catalyst for us learning our new stasis and how to wield stasis and stuff like that. If the Exostranger's actually been able to just by default wield stasis, that tells me that perhaps she was raised by the darkness, and maybe she was an after effect. Maybe she.
Let me add this connection for you real quick. Before we knew stasis was a thing, even before the leaks, some people thought the animation on Eris's hand in the teaser was the same animation at the end of the Exostranger's gun.
What?
If the Exostranger's gun from D1 has a very similar stasis animation effect at the end of the barrel. And we know from the lore that that gun has parts that shouldn't exist.
Right.
Meaning it was technology far ahead of our time.
Right.
So it is possible that the Exostranger's gun was utilizing stasis, given the similar animation design of the stasis power Eris had in her hands and the end of the barrel of the Exostranger's gun.
Well,
it's quite spinfoily, but it is a connection, possibly.
Yeah, that's totally fine, and everything I'm saying right now is totally spinfoil. But I feel like if the darkness won in her universe, what if instead of Like we know in our universe and stuff like that, the collapse happened, and the Traveler in its dying breath created the ghosts, and
well, I thought it happened the same way in her universe. It's just that this time the darkness had won. Just without there were no guardians. The collapse happened to fruition. Okay.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like that's what I'm saying. Like what if it beat the Traveler and the Traveler didn't get a chance to make guardians? So, or what if instead the reverse happened? What if Exos existed, right? And then Exos had just got completely used for the darkness's, plans or whatever. And maybe she broke away from that when she was able to obtain the light. Or,
she was not forged in light.
She was not forged in light, but we were forged in light. But, we have potential for both. So it's possible. I mean, it's entirely possible, at least in my understanding of the lore, it seems like paracausal beings have potential to wield both.
Well, it's because we're paracausal that we could wield both.
Right. So, I mean, me personally, I'm calling it. I don't feel like the Exo Stranger would be able to do all the shit that she does right now and not be paracausal in some way, shape, or form. And that thing that is following her behaves too much like a ghost for it not to be some sort of...
In what way?
Dude, like, I mean, have you seen...
I don't know if it behaves like a ghost, but it is.
That's what I'm saying.
Very obviously self-sentient.
I would be very remiss to say that. I'd be very remiss to say that it seems like. I mean, obviously, it goes with her entire aesthetic. It could be a pet. It could just be some sort of sentient mechanical life, or it could be related to her and whatever she is. And I mean, I feel like it's some sort. I feel like it's probably the darkness's answer to what a ghost would be in her universe, right? I mean, that's just my, maybe not a darkness ghost per se.
No,
I don't know about that, but maybe it's just we have this preconceived notion of the darkness being all triangle-y and edgy and
but look at it though. Like, look at it. It does. It's not.
Creature.
It doesn't have a orb in the center of it. It's all shapes.
Yeah, it looks like it actually looks like a living being, not just a ghost. But I think you're right. I think it is. My personal guess is that it is her timelines. It is like the manifestation of her timeline's research on paracausality, and that's what. And it is probably very much related to her ability to come to our timeline. And maybe it's like the last-ditch effort of the other timeline to try and fix other timelines.
My guess is it's a creature that feeds on the dark. That's why she can explore the dark areas, because it eats the darkness around her.
Possibly.
We don't know. Anyways. Season arrivals. We're going to have pyramid ships on 4 locations. Have they really said when each one will show up? Is it every reset?
If they're doing 4, my guess would be like, thinking also like when they release new locations in terms of
it's also really
seasons,
weird.
probably every 2 to 3 weeks
on the order they're arriving and their locations.
Well, you can see one from Titan.
Io is closer to Earth than Titan is, so Titan should have been the first one, and then Io. And if they're going to Mercury, that means they have to go past Earth. So that means it's going to be pyramid ships on Earth, but that's not going to happen yet. So they must have a similar ability like the Traveler, where it can blink in and out. Because there is no way in the world Zavala would allow a pyramid ship to go even close to Earth's orbit.
What? I'm sorry, excuse my French. What the fuck is Zavala going to do about that? Like... I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You're saying that the man, when he had a single life left, wanted to basically blow up the Almighty and take the solar system with him, won't do anything when the biggest enemy in the universe arrives on Earth's doorstep.
Volshak.
Would you say that Rasputin could take down a warship now with all of his new satellites in orbit?
That's what I'm saying. So what the fuck? Again, answer me this. What the fuck is Zavala gonna do?
He's a Titan. He's gonna punch it.
Come on, yo.
This is why we don't have any Titans here.
Exactly. What the hell can he do to keep the pyramid shit off of Earth, yo?
But this is what I'm saying.
The
Titans
pyramid
are stupid. He wanted to basically destroy a device that was going to nuke the solar system by it being dismantled. And he was okay with that. You think
I
he's not going to
mean,
do anything?
it's not so much as not. I think he would make a grand try.
He's going to make
If you
the
could call it
stupidest
that.
decision possible, but he's going to do it.
I really want to talk more about some theories I have, but Frog, you got to get caught up, bro. All right, wait. Did you play the first mission yet or anything?
Check. There's 2 missions.
Yeah,
The
I've
very
played
intro
through.
mission. This is the one I'm
I think I've played through everything.
No,
I just haven't really
This is
read
all-
any.
There's not really any
I haven't read
lore
anything,
pages
but I've
except
played
for
through
the
some
first one so
missions.
far. You don't have to worry about any of that. There's only 2 books of
I
this
mean,
season.
technically that whole
All right,
shit
cool.
is up for one.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I only talk about stuff that's been released.
Oh, hold on, 1 second, guys.
I'm gonna continue on anyways. He's gonna be so mad. I'm
Like
skipping this
Zavala,
part.
what can you do?
Or while he's not around. So they show Beyond Light, and then we're like, okay, cool, and then boom, 2021, The Witch Queen, and everyone starts freaking out. I watched a Broman reaction. The dude starts freaking out.
Bro, listen.
No,
It
it's
is.
So the Witch
Jiva
Queen.
Aura.
That's the Witch Queen's got to be Savathun, right? Shh.
I am ready for Witch Queen. I am ready for 2021, man.
Because you have an obsession with Savathun.
I have things. I do not have a obsession with Savathun.
With Savathun?
Please, please.
Listen.
Please.
Listen.
Does Saint 14 have an obsession with pigeons?
Listen.
You have this obsession with Savathun.
Someone please clip that. That was great.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing's stopping you from clipping it yourself, really.
Except for listening and paying
so
attention.
probably,
All right.
I'm going to say September of next year, we get to kill Savathun.
I don't know. I don't think we're gonna get to kill her, but I think her story,
We're going to kill her.
our story with her is really gonna start.
We're going to kill her. There is no way in the world
You think
the
we're really
community
gonna-
will be happy with Savathun either teaming up with us or becoming the background helper. So she's going to die.
No.
I want her to die.
I'm not saying that we don't get a killer. I'm just saying I don't think we're gonna kill her on release.
Yes. Because given this current season track, no seasons come with no raids. And she is gonna be a raid.
Yeah, okay.
So she will be the Witch Queen
Yeah, she's
will
gonna
be the raid boss.
She's gonna be the raid boss
And
for
then-
that expansion. All right, that's fair.
Lightfall 2022, which, given its travelership overlaid with a traveler, pyramidship overlaid with a traveler, they're going to either show up on Earth, merge with the traveler, or destroy each other. We have no clue. It's a working title with only an image.
Is it the official title though?
It's a working title,
Okay, so that might change.
but I
Alright.
am excited.
I definitely appreciate the fact that they have
The fact that they have a working
long-term
title
roadmap
for a third
the story.
DLC 2 years from now means they're already working on it. Even if it's not gameplay wise, it's conceptually. So they have 2 years
They've got this
to
story.
work on this. But they've already started working on it because they said they were working on Forsaken when Vanilla T2 was around. That was a year. So if they're working on conceptuals now,
Right.
they'll be working on gameplay by the time Witch Queen is out. And
Makes sense. It also means that like they always try to be so far ahead that like some of the issues we see in a season probably won't see all of the resolutions until
yeah.
2 or 3 seasons later.
And they said they're going to go all in on Destiny 2. So there's going to be no D3. The Destiny content vault, I believe, is a good idea.
I thought they
They had a
I thought
10-year
they already
plan
had like a contract for
of Destiny.
D3.
They have no one to make a contract with.
Right.
They probably would have had to have made a D3 under Activision. Because
I honestly-
Activision wants that launch money.
I mean, I think that honestly, for the health and betterment of the life of the game long term, I think there's really no better decision really than to just keep all their chips on what's working.
Well, yeah,
and
I'm pretty
continue
sure
to
it's
build
making
on
good
it,
money.
and the fact that they're also planning on both creating new experiences for the progression of the story, but while also porting over some of that older content from D1 and kind of updating it for the modern context. I think that's great, because we have a lot of players that are very new to the game, are just coming in at Destiny 2, or maybe they got Destiny 1 and like were blazed through it.
Guys, hold the glass.
So can I say
it's coming back in season 14?
Oh yeah.
So it's coming back in season 14 for sure.
Yeah.
Like, that's confirmed.
It's not coming out this year.
Right. 11.
What season number is Arrivals?
It's coming out next. It's not. They said Vault of Glass will not be coming.
It actually is 11
this year. It won't be coming at the beginning of a season. It'll be coming during a season, but next year.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, think about it. Oh,
that's not going to be just normal.
They might
VOD,
redo
though.
World's First for it, so someone can reclaim or get a double title. And you know how they usually have, if you beat the raid in a week, reward. We might be able to get a Vault of Glass leather jacket.
That'd be tight.
I would.
What's going to be interesting is going to be whatever updates they make to it. I don't think they'll change.
They said the mechanics are going to be the same. It just Praetors are going to be champions.
Okay, remind me what the Praetorians were.
The yellow barb Minotaurs. That was it.
God damn, that's still.
So they're going to be champions, probably unstoppables.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
All right.
So just imagine how
season
good
14,
looking
that's likely to be next January.
Would be in this new in the updated graphics compared to D1 and to 2.
Just that space, like just that opening space is just ridiculous.
So good looking.
'Cause again, you got people that have never seen Venus. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be very interesting to see. I'm really excited.
And it's probably going to be like an evolved up modern look, like current timeline of Venus, not just the D1 look, but like D2 after Shadowkeep look at Venus. Ooh, that reminds me. On the top of the spire, there is a dodecahedron structure that you don't see anywhere else in Vex architecture, but inside the Pyramidion.
Interesting.
Yeah, I had a moment during one of a convention I was at. The shape is a symbol of life and the heavens.
Nice.
So with the Pyramidion being underground having that, and the spire being in the sky having that, I find interesting.
I had no idea that. I hadn't heard the thing about it being a
it has like
symbol of
16 different
life in the heavens. Yeah, okay, that makes sense, because dodecahedron is
let me get my little
12-sided regular polygon, which is also the same shape as engrams, which is also known to be the most efficient way to store matter. So, what if it's really just storing something instead?
Okay, so it's a 20-sided triangle. So it's of spirit and ether, the heavens, water, and divine connection. Also space, so it could be related to space travel. So I find that interesting. I find it interesting. This structure is only seen in 2 locations in all of Vex architecture. Because that's what in the boss room of the Pyramidion. If you look in the background, that entire area is just building towards a center. Like in the center is this shape,
right?
And there's actually the movable area down there too. There's a gate with platforms down there where no one's been to.
Well, I mean, they did say that the Pyramidion essentially behaves like the vault.
They're connected, but the vault is outside of time and space. This is my personal theory with some actual facts in it. We know that if you go into the vault, you can go in for an hour, but a week will pass outside.
Right.
We know this for a fact. This is my theory section. When we defeated Atheon, and when Kabir brought the light into the vault, we fractured that time dilation, bringing it to 1-1, real time.
Right.
It's this way. Now the Vex couldn't use the vault as a safe haven now that their rules have been altered and slightly broken. But that's why the Oracle can still kill us. But with Atheon gone, they lost the spearhead of their power. Which is the reason why the Fallen were able to go in and not worry about being deleted, because the Templar wasn't there to control the Oracles and the like. Opening the door of the vault before we defeated Atheon was seen as attuning the vault to our time period. This is the way I see it. But I feel like I've gone off on tangents and spoilers long enough tonight.
So, Season of Arrivals, we've seen a first new...
It was beautiful.
Mostly cinematic mission.
It was beautiful. Did I say it was beautiful?
We've met the tree.
It was beautiful. Especially the trio
Silverwing. You know, Full, you might have done it. I'm not sure, actually.
Yes.
Which are where the Ruined Wings in the MK Stand-Aside Titan exotic armor is from. One was they were crafted from the leaves of that tree, from the Black Garden, not the one in Io. The one in Io it was once a seedling from the tree from the Black Garden. Which, where is that tree?
In the garden grows.
Yeah, but have we seen it? That's what I'm asking. Yeah.
I
have not played Garden of Salvation.
The silver tree in the Black Garden?
No, at least I don't think so. No, I think actually that one got destroyed.
I don't think so either.
The garden got destroyed when the darkness and light fought.
I mean, we didn't make armor out of it, and we usually make armor out of stuff we killed or destroyed. Look at Kefri's Sting, for example, or the War Priest helmet.
True. Fair enough. In a little bit more theory crafting, what steps do you think we take? Because right now, from the Beyond Light, we know that we are going to have powers from the darkness. Mm-hmm. Or that involve the darkness.
And we are collecting darkness for
and right
the
now,
seed.
Right. And right now, that's what we've got. We've got darkness. We've got the seed collecting the darkness. And we also have the umbral engrams, which...
soaked in darkness, yeah.
Are normal engrams that
that's why Raoul can't decipher them, because his light would get in the way of the process.
And that's also why I think pretty much Drifter would be the only one to make the umbral decoding machine.
And Eris, but I don't think Eris realizes her potential yet.
I don't know if I would just, in terms of just technological...
She's all magic.
Proficiency and science. Levels of MacGyverness.
Let me say real quick, I love their interactions.
Yes.
It's always funny when she calls him Rat.
It is interesting. It's an unexpected pairing, but it's like really
people's been saying it's been reminding them of the Eris and Cade combo. Just with a little more dark and less slapstick humor.
Yeah.
I mean, have you heard the line when you opened the Umbral Engram decryptor? Well, there's the best one.
I mean,
the
I've
best
opened
one
quite
in the Drift is like this thing will eat up anything.
I don't remember them.
Like the Cookie Monster. Like that is amazing. And apparently that wasn't the writer's idea. It was the voice actor's idea. And they ran with it.
Hey man, I gotta respect it.
I know.
God.
Side note,
you gotta love how extra the Drifter is.
Same voice actor as Greed from Full Metal Alchemist.
I think you told me that once.
I hadn't put that together, but now that you've told me, I can completely hear it.
You'll hear it every time now.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, given so far in the story, all we have is Zavathun is interfering with our talk to the darkness. We don't know why she's doing that yet. People are thinking that this season will be going around her back while also destroying her many eyes placed around the solar system, and while collecting darkness for the seed. I mean, I saw an image of someone who had already finished all 3 levels of the what do you want to call those perks on that diffractor thing.
Already?
What he did was he deleted his character, restarted.
I mean,
and you can redo weeklies on deleted characters, so they finished it.
Oh, does it carry over between characters?
No. Your weeklies reset if you delete a character, so you just delete a character, do it, delete a character, do it. And you'll get 500, you'll get 1,000 of that level up stuff every time. And when he was done, the glowy piece of the seed was completely enveloped in darkness, like an onion.
Okay, Titan.
What if we eat it?
Okay, I'm done now. I'm done. I mean, if anyone were to eat it, it would be the Drifter. You remember you remember his opulence?
Yeah, you know what? The
prediction
Drifter,
death. Yeah, and
he was at a banquet. You invited him to a banquet, and he stuffed his mouth, and then you stabbed him in the back.
You made him eat his own ghost and basically eat to death.
You made him eat his own ghost.
It's not impossible for the man. But anyways, I think that covers everything from the reveal and this week of just talking about everything all this new information we've got, which I want to mention something, but if I do, I feel like Lay is going to just add 20 minutes to this.
I won't, I promise.
Do it anyway.
Let's see what happens. Back.
Oh, yes. I can't wait to get it.
So is Boltcaster.
That sword is fun as hell. Sorry. And I'd be ruining people's life in Crucible with that joint. Because they'd be away.
Why not just use the Tesseract or the World Line Zero or the Uldren sword?
Because this new joint hit different, man.
Do you know what I'm saying? I'm just glad Dark Drinker's back, and that animation when you spin is beautiful. So, I'll stop you there before we continue down this rabbit hole. I'm just talking about how beautiful every sword is, and we will end it here today. Next time, I'm not gonna say it'll be a lore episode because I said that last time, and I guess this was kind of a lore episode. But next time, I'm hoping we'll have some more detailed and prepared notes on a topic that's about Destiny.
Gotcha, Chief.
Yeah, I'll see you guys later. Have a nice night.
Thanks, everyone, for stopping by.